what's up and welcome back to my channel. Now today I'm going to be giving a review for the NECA Batman NES, or you could say Nintendo video game figure. I think that's what they actually are calling this. Now I am kind of excited about this, but I wasn't too big or too thrilled about picking this particular version of Batman up, And I did have this video game back when I was a kid. I was such a huge fan of the Nintendo Batman game. I really was like a huge fan of that. And of course, that was like a video game adaptation of the 1989 Tim Burton movie, which I have right here on DVD. And then I saw this at the theaters too. But it actually was a video game adaptation of that particular film. And I used to be a huge fan of that game. I really did enjoy it a lot. I like the Nintendo version, I know they also had that on Sega Genesis too, and I had the Genesis version too. And then they had Batman Returns too, eventually, like on Super Nintendo. Boy, that was just awesome. Even on Genesis, but the Super Nintendo Batman Returns game, that was just amazing. That was actually one of my all-time favorite video games, like on Super Nintendo in general, period. But yeah, like I said, I wasn't too thrilled about it because the way it looks, I'm not too big on that. And I know they have other video game figures, like from NECA and so on, that I do kind of plan on getting eventually, But I just went ahead and decided to pick it up anyway. So I'm going to get into this right now. So as you can see, this here's the actual box art that contains the figure. And it does look exactly like how the Nintendo game actually looked like the box art. Because I know this would say Nintendo right here instead of NECA. This right here would say Nintendo, so I think that's kind of cool. And I like how the box looks all deteriorated, like it's used and stuff. Like all that damaged stuff. That's actually the design of the box, So I think that's kind of cool. Even the back of it was just like this, like the video game. The actual back of the box art was just like that. I remember that very well. That's so awesome. So I do think that's kind of cool. And I was a huge fan of this video game, Now when you open it up, you can see it. That's how it looks on the inside. It has an image of the video game, with Batman and the Joker. And of course you can see the figure on the inside. I like how it even has the power bar up there too. That is cool. And you can see the figure inside with the accessories. I do notice it says the action figure too right there as well. Now the back it has a scripture of the game. It says he's totally new, totally tough, and he'll stop at nothing to make sure justice prevails. From the dark streets of Gotham City to the deepest corners of criminal underworld comes the Cape Crusader as you've never seen him before. Incredibly strong, armed to the teeth, and ready to put his life on the line for the sake of all, on a search and destroy mission to end the Joker's reign of terror. He leaps, he flies, he dodges enemy fire, and delivers it right back with a vengeance. This is no kid stuff. This is a real as action figures get. If you like what you saw in the movie and game, you're going to love what you see here, because this time around Batman is all business, and he won't let anything stand in his way. Now I do remember seeing that back when I was a kid. When I used to read it, it says that he flies. I was like, whoa, he's going to be flying this, But, they just were saying that, But I'm going to just get on into this right now. As you can see, this is the background diorama that comes with the figure. That's cool. Another thing I'm going to show, like I says this, I know you murdered my parents. Now you will dance with the devil in the pale moonlight. That's cool. That's like a scene from the game. Okay, as you can see, there's the NECA NES Batman figure. So what I'm going to do is actually just measure him. And he's over 7 inches, just under 8 inches, on the stand I have him on. Not much severe, Like I said, I still wasn't too big on it, but I was such a huge fan of this video game, I really did like this game a lot. Back when it came out, I really did enjoy it a lot, But yeah, I guess I just touch on the articulation and the look of the figure. So as you can see, that's how it actually looks. So it has the colors and stuff about how he looked it on the video game, which is this bluish, purplish type look. Because his face, his mouth right there is actually blue, but the cowl and the cape itself, even kind of around the suit, the bat suit itself, is actually purple. And you see that's still like that too as well, And the cape itself is still a cloth-like material. So I think this is still a pretty cool figure to have. But as you can see, it's basically the same figure as this right here. The actual 89, the movie actually had it in the movie. And this is actually my favorite, second favorite NECA figure. Was actually favorite NECA figure in 7 scale. This Batman 89 figure. And from what I heard, this was actually first. This figure was actually before the this figure right here, NECA actually had released this one before they had this one. Now they had this in quarter scale, but this is the one they did in 7 scale first, from what I hear. Then they eventually brought this one into 7 scale. So this was actually out before this one. So that's kind of odd and interesting, you know. And I'm glad they did actually eventually bring this one out, because this is such an awesome figure right here, you know. But yeah, this one is pretty like cool too, you know. It's good to have them both, you know. And as you can see, they are exactly the same, just a different like shading and coloring, basically. Same figure, the cloth cape, everything. Alright. As you can see, Batman arm, it does bend up. You can rotate the hand. I still think it's kind of odd too that that turns like that, you know. The leg can be lifted up too as well, and bend it. You can do the split. Feet rotate too. So yeah, I guess this is like a cool figure to have, you know. Like I said, I was such a huge fan of like the game too, myself, you know. I really do remember that game, you know, a lot on Nintendo Herd. Now what I want to do is talk about the accessories that come with the NECA NES Batman figure. So as you can see, he has 2 fists. One for the right and one for like the left. And he also has the grapple gun. And the batarang. Now these are the same exact ones that came with the actual actually that one's actually the same as you can see. I forgot this one actually came before the 89, like in 7 scale. So as you can see, these are the same like grapples, just painted in a different color. Even like the batarang, as you see, they're just painted like in different colors. And of course you got like the hands too as well, they're just painted like in different colors. Now here's like the grapple gun like in his hand, as you can see. And as you can see, there's the batarang in Batman's hand too as well. I had to swap out the hand and put it on. As you can see, here's my NECA 7 scale Batman collection. I have the Batman Classic TV series from NECA, or you can say Adam West figure, the Batman Begins NECA figure, the Batman 1989 figure, and this one is the Batman NES figure, which is the same as the 1989, but the video game edition, basically painted in the video game like colors, basically. Awesome collection, you know. There's no question I would have picked up the Nintendo one too, because I had these 3, you know. Okay, that's my review for the NECA NES Batman figure, or you can say NECA Nintendo Batman. And again, this is based on the this is a video game figure. Well, it's actually the figure based on the video game adaptation of the 1989 Tim Burton movie, which I saw in the theaters too as well, you know. But yeah, I used to be a big fan of the actual like video game itself. I used to actually have this on Nintendo too as well, and I remember enjoying it a lot. It was such an awesome game. So it is cool that NECA would do something like that, you know, in memory of the actual Nintendo video game. That was an awesome game back for in its time, you know. I used to be so like such a huge fan of that, you know. I remember even losing. I forgot what had happened to. I think I let somebody hold it and they never returned, you know, like when I was a kid, you know. But I do remember enjoying that game. But I used to like play it and like beat it like over and over and over, you know. But then I remember they had one like on the Super Nintendo, which is the Batman Returns version. That was just such an awesome game. Now that's one of my all-time favorite video games when it was on Super Nintendo. The actual video game adaptation of Batman Returns, because they also had it on Sega Genesis too as well. But yeah, I guess I would definitely recommend picking this figure up, especially if you're a fan of the Nintendo Batman video game. I would definitely recommend picking this one up. But there's no question I ought to pick this up because I had the other NECA Batman figures, you know, it's like 7 skulls, so there's no question I would have picked this one up too as well, you know. So yeah, I'm definitely happy and excited that I actually found and picked this one up, you know, and I would definitely recommend it, you know. So please leave a comment and subscribe too as well.